Carla Valley, and you're watching What's Happening. I'm here today with Mike Locke, the Executive Director at the Harwich Conservation Trust. Hi, Mike. Welcome.
Thanks, Danielle. Thank you for having me on the program to learn a little bit more about Harwich Conservation Trust and our upcoming event.
Thanks. So tell me, what is your program all about?
Yep, well, we have, it's amazing to think we've been hosting this live owl program called Eyes on Owls for 10 years now. And it's an annual fundraiser, but it's unique in that the presenters, Marcia and Mark Wilson, actually bring live owls up to 7 different kinds or species for up close and personal encounters of the owl kind. And people get a chance to learn a lot about owl behavior and biology, and even sometimes get to go up in front of the audience and hoot alongside the owls. But that's just a snapshot. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the significance of the owls? Why do you choose owls to have at this fundraiser?
That's a great question. Since as an organization, we raise funds to preserve land that protects, among other things, wildlife habitat for use by a variety of wildlife, including owls. We think owls are unique in that they're at the apex or top of the food chain in our wild landscapes in terms of avian or bird life. They're also seldom seen and seldom heard. So to be able to have these amazing creatures available to everyone to get up close and personal with is just extraordinary. Marcia and Mark carry state and federal permits which allow them to engage in these unique educational programs. All of these owls have a permanent disability, so they can't be released back into the wild. But under these special conditions, Marcia and Mark are able to bring them to local communities.
Wow.
And that's why we've been hosting them each year for 10 years. It's just an extraordinary program. People come back year after year, and it's really exciting for all ages. We don't recommend it for under age 5, but anything up from there, sometimes 3 generations from the same family attend. So it's really a lot of fun. And it's March 5th, Saturday, March 5th, and we have 3 programs, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m.
Wow, that's awesome. So what kind of owls are at this program?
Yes. So we have up to 7 different species that the Wilsons will bring. Everything from the largest owl species in the world by weight, which is the Eurasian eagle owl. So some international owls, if you will. And that's essentially looks like a gray horned owl, which is one of our local species here with the ear tufts, and really blends in with trees in the forested landscape, but it's even bigger. And then they'll have a spectacled owl, which, true to its name, has a feather pattern around its eyes that look like eyeglasses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or spectacles, yeah. And that owl's from South America. And then we get to some of our more local owls. They'll have species including great horned owl, the screech owl, sometimes in the sort of fiery orange feather color, or more of a silver gray feather color. They come in 2 different color patterns. And then they'll even have the saw-whet owl, which is really not much bigger than, say, a soda can.
Wow.
Yeah, our smallest local owl. And then they'll bring in a snowy owl, which...
Those are rare, right?
Those are rare, yes. And especially since we don't see them very often, except remember 2 winters ago, we had a big influx of snowy owls. Believe it or not, for our area of the world at least. And they were showing up on our local beaches, West Dennis Beach, for instance, barrier beaches like that. And people could get some amazing photographs and views. But the snowy owl is a little different because it hunts during the day. So it's more active during the day, or diurnal, meaning active during the day, as opposed to nocturnal or active at night, like our local great horned or screech owl or saw-whet owl. So, and it's bright white, and it's amazing, and you can actually hear a collective gasp when this owl is presented. Just the audience is just stunned. It's really a beautiful bird. And then they'll bring another species called the barred owl, which is B-A-R-R-E-D. And it has this sort of dark charcoal colored eyes and this sort of barred patterning on its chest. And that's an owl species that's been slowly making a comeback on the Cape. I think partly because of some of the areas that Harwich Conservation Trust and other land trusts in each of the Cape's 15 towns are preserving. And by having this owl program, we're able to raise funds that help us preserve more land and wildlife habitat.
So it's beneficial for both.
It is beneficial for both, yeah.
So these owls, where do they live when this fundraiser isn't going on? Do you keep them all together or what? Yeah,
that's an excellent question. They actually live with the Wilsons, Marcia and Mark Wilson, not in the same house, under the same roof, but the Wilsons have a series of enclosures and sort of roost boxes and perches for them, so that you know, they can live out their natural lives. Some of these are really long-lived. The great horned owl can live, you know, 30, 40 years, believe it or not. Yeah. I think they just had one that passed away that reached age 28 or 29. So it's a long time. That these birds are with them and embarking on these educational tours. So yeah, they live with the Wilsons up in Dunstable, Mass, which is sort of more north shore, north of Boston. And yeah, believe it or not, they pile them into, they put them into these individual wooden travel boxes. And then they bring the boxes out to their traveling van, and they get up at like 2 or 3 in the morning to make the trip down here to see us on the Cape in time to set up and showcase the owls to the first audience that arrives by 10. So they've got a long day ahead of them that day, but they come every year. Yeah, they love visiting the Cape.
Yeah, that's great. So they do other shows too?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they've done some shows in Falmouth. They sort of have another tradition besides seeing us here in Harwich the first Saturday of every March. They also visit the Cape Cod Museum of Natural History in Brewster the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So they sort of have a long history of visiting us out here on the Cape, and they tour all over New England and the Northeast. So Mark Wilson's actually a retired professional photographer with the Boston Globe, so he has some amazing images, some of which, you know, your viewers are, you know, watching as we speak. And Mark will actually showcase a lot of those photos at the beginning of each owl program through a series of slides. And he'll talk about their habits and their behavior, and then they'll actually start bringing out the owls. So it's really fun.
Yeah,
it's great.
Sounds like it. So having done this for many years now, what's your favorite part about the fundraiser?
Oh, that's great, yeah. Well, you know, I think it's fantastic how really all ages enjoy the event. I'd like to see, you know, the smiles on people's faces. I mean, really, you know, it's very uncommon, again, to come across an owl in the wild.
Yeah.
And so to be able to see them, you know, and their different feather patterns and their irises, you know, the great horned owl's got this amazing golden iris. So those bright yellow eyes are just very striking. To see people sort of ooh and ah and really connect in a way to this, these amazing creatures is inspiring. And so I guess to sum it up, I really enjoy having the opportunity for folks to have a fulfilling experience, you know, with these amazing creatures.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So the Harwich Conservation Trust, what had you interested in becoming a part of it? Why is it important to you?
Well, I was raised on Cape in Brewster, and you know, my folks would take my younger brother and I out on camping trips in Nickerson State Park, and you know, on hikes in the local beaches and such. And so, you know, I got to appreciate and enjoy the outdoors here, you know, going through the school system and then coming back to raise my own family here. And so I think it's always given me a sense of awareness of how fragile it is here in terms of the environment. And I've seen a lot of changes in the landscape. And so, you know, I've been drawn to the work of local land trusts, and specifically Harwich Conservation Trust, to try and save some of these special places so that all of us can enjoy them ongoing, you know, through time. So it's just a great group of people to work with, whether it's volunteers or you know, fellow land trust staff. And it's terrific that there's such strong support across the communities, you know, across the Cape for preserving, you know, those best natural landscapes that we have left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your day like? What are your day events like?
The day of the actual owl event, or even just a day-to-day at the land trust?
Yeah.
Day-to-day at the land trust. Well, that's another interesting aspect is there's really something different every day. We focus on 4 main program areas, whether it's land preservation, land stewardship, also called land management, because once we preserve these lands, we have a responsibility to then take care of them and manage them to the best of our ability to enhance and protect wildlife habitat, water quality if they're next to ponds or other resources, streams, for, let's say, for example. And also, in some instances, create inviting walking trails so that the public can then enjoy these beautiful areas and scenic views. So it's land preservation, then we're working on land stewardship or management issues. We're also working on outreach activities and volunteer activities, one of which such as this OWL program sort of combines the two. It's sort of educational outreach and an opportunity for many of our volunteers to help plan the event and coordinate the event that day. You know, our conservation world really goes round thanks to the time and effort dedicated by our citizen volunteers. So we have land preservation, land stewardship, educational outreach, and then of course tying them all together is fundraising. So we're a nonprofit, so we count on membership donations and gifts to make all of these worthwhile projects happen, just like other nonprofits on the Cape, which I might add, we're lucky on the Cape because people support a variety of nonprofits, whether it be land preservation in my world, or you know, social welfare, food pantries, or other nonprofits that help folks make a go of it here on the Cape. So, you know, we're lucky here.
Yeah. And that's why this fundraiser coming up about the owls is very important, right? Yeah,
and it really does help us raise critical funds that can make a difference in preserving more land. So, yeah, and people can learn more, actually. They can reserve online through our website, harwichconservationtrust.org. And I forgot to mention that we've kept the prices the same since year 1. It's $5 ages 5 to 11. And $12 ages 12 and up. So we try and keep it really reasonable. Again, they can reserve online at harwichconservationtrust.org, or if they like to try their luck at the door, they're welcome to come to any one of those Saturday, March 5th programs, 10, 1, and 3, right at the Harwich Community Center, which is a beautiful destination right there in Harwich Center. So yeah, just come on down. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Mike, for coming.
Thanks for hosting. Yeah.
I'm Daniela Valley, and you're watching What's Happening. Thank you.